Well, I just got back from the dock. I've got to wear this hand split for at least another 2 weeks, which means I'm completely out of work. I can't be cleaning and sorting and which therefore means washing and taking this on and off. As long as I have it on. So I am going to take the time to read from some more of my literature to the amusement of whoever wants to listen to this. So what we have here first, since we stopped off with 1941, I have two leather-bound Enthusiasts, one for 41 and one for 44, and I have a complete 36 set. The others are some of this and some of that, nothing complete. So we'll start with the 41. And I'm going to move this around here. We can kind of look at the bike. And obviously this is going to be in parts. And I'm going to try and show this and read to you at the same time. So it was signed here by Paul Margone here, front. And it's nice leather bound. So if anybody wants to sell their leather bound Enthusiasts, please get a hold of me. I do want to buy more of them. So we have Enthusiasts here, January 1941. That's looks to be roughly Joshua Tree, California. And there's a 36 VL here on the cover. You can see it. Yep, right here. Oh, we get a nice, good look at this here. Bikes. The pictures. And we're going to read the first page. So obviously this is going to be a lot of parts. It says, My Answer to the Call of the Open Road by Carl Dragila, or Drahia. I assume that's Spanish. If it's Spanish, it'd be Drahia. J is H in Spanish, for those of you who don't know. When I travel, I want to ride something that will let me feel the rush of good, clean, outdoor air on my face. I want to smell the scent of the woods in the Tennessee hills, the invigorating sea air from the Gulf of Mexico, the blooming sagebrush of Texas, and the heavy scented pines of Montana. I want to ride in the open on a sturdy Harley Davidson 61 overhead valve, and I'll get where I want to go easily, pleasantly, and economically. Suppose I spin a tale for you of the wonderful trip I made a year ago that led me through the 17 states, 2 foreign countries, took 3 months to complete, and covered 8,500 miles. It was a real adventure, even more than I bargained for, but I'm getting ahead of my story. So I assume this is Carl here on the side. You can see him. Well, for at least a full month before my trip, I packed and repacked my saddlebags. I tried 100 ways of tying on my blankets and of packing my equipment as compactly as possible. Any rider who's prepared for a long trip will know and appreciate the thrills of dissipation that filled me. I went over and over my maps. No GPS back then. You had to rely on AAA or local map sources or local instructions. Turn left at the rock 3 miles from here. Using an almost unlimited supply of information given me by generous gasoline companies. Let's not forget Shell gas station and Chevron and all those foregone companies are no longer around. They had maps. You write to them, it's in your map. I traced and retraced my route, calculating the mileage and approximate fuel consumption of my mount. Finally, at the end of 1 month, I had everything planned for the greatest efficiency. I decided on a blanket, an army ground sheet, and a raincoat for sleeping accommodations. Must be nice to be on. Other items included 2 shirts, a pair of slacks, bathing suit, 4 sweaters, change of underwear, handkerchiefs, flashlight, toothbrush, and shaving equipment. Last by no means least, I carefully packed my camera. I wanted to be sure to bring back photographic evidence of the many places I visited to refresh my memory in years to come. And of course, everybody, young kids today, probably don't know what film is, but that's what it was. There was no digital age. This is pre-Polaroid. You had to use real film. It was all black and white, too. The camera never forgets, but unfortunately our memories do grow dim with the passing of the years. I've been on many a trip in the past. The picture I've taken of famous places and historic spots remain my most cherished possessions. My 61 was all tuned up until it would have done your heart good to listen to the hum of that overhead valve motor. On the eve of the 6th of June, I filled the tank with gas, checked the tires again, packed the saddlebag, strapped on my bedding, and all the while my hands trembled with excitement. My heart pounded so loudly I'm sure it could be heard in the next block. My impatient waiting for this long trip had at last come to an end. In the morning I would be on my way. I pushed my 61 in the garage and locked the doors, but not before I had patted the handlebars a gentle good night. The alarm rang at 5 and I was fully awake the first thing. And you can see this is pre-computer age. There's a nice little typo here where it says ting instead of thing. I dressed slowly, all the while carefully checking over details in my mind. I could not afford to leave one single item behind. At 5:30 I was ready. Closing the door of my room, I tiptoed quietly downstairs. There wasn't a soul stirring except this adventure-bound cyclist. Even the streets of Ypsilanti, Michigan were empty at such an early hour in the morning. Opening the door of my garage, I found my iron steed champing at the bit. I am sure it was as patient as I to be, on the road. One more quick checkup, and I pushed the 61 into the driveway. I started the motor and let it warm up slowly, all the while feeling that if I did not get moving soon, my impatient 61 would leap out beneath me. I felt again in my pockets: notebook, pencil, pocketbook, knife, extra set of sunglasses and gloves. All were there. We have some other pictures here. This is welcome to Louisiana. You can tell he's on a 39 here. Beautiful bike. Look how bright and shiny. Just as bright and shiny back then as they are today. Just gorgeous, gorgeous machine. We'll read the little side blurbs here. It says, welcome to Tennessee. Introducing the author, Carl Ahia, who teaches during the school year and seeks adventure on a 61 overhead valve during the summer months. That's number 1. That's him up there, as it is. And number 2, a hallowed Texas shrine, the Alamo, down here. Got the Tennessee state line here. Speed limit is be reasonable, drive carefully. The docks at New Orleans. That's here. Another view of the Alamo from a seldom photographed angle, the courtyard, right here. Up here it says, number 6, much of New Orleans' colorful history is associated with the French settlers. Here's a snap taken in the famous French Quarter by Carl. An endless expanse of desert, so vividly described in the author's story. Welcome to Arizona, right there. Courtyard of the oldest home of New Orleans, one of America's most awe-inspiring regions, the Grand Canyon of the Colorado, right here. I shifted into first. My trip had begun. I left the driveway and turned into the street. Reaching the corner, I took one backward glance at the house. We'll see you next fall, I said to myself. At the city limits, I took one last look at the Ypsi water tower, then with eyes straight forward, I shifted into 4th gear. Yes, it would be quite a long time before I would see Ypsilanti again. Many thoughts flashed through my mind. Behind me, the sun was coming over the city. Before me, the open road stretched westward, leading to who knows what adventures. It would take volumes to tell all my experiences during the following 3 months. All I can hope to recall are a few of the highlights, which might encourage other riders to venture forth and see the countless wonders of America. Crossing the state line into Ohio, I encountered the green rolling countryside of the great Buckeye State Turning westward, I soon came to Indiana and the clean modern cities of Fort Wayne and Indianapolis. I got a big thrill when I crossed the Ohio River and saw the far-off Kentucky shore with a large sign which carried the message, Louisville, Kentucky, gateway to the south. Now this is getting really heavy for my hand, so I'm going to stop this and make this part one. I'm going to grab a seat and see if I can get a little more comfortable here. So look at these other pictures. It says, top Louisiana hangs out the welcome sign, tourist. And center here is a hospital rider Carl in Beaumont, Texas, here. Low in the distance is Mobile, Alabama skyline. So that's what that is right over here. That's Mobile, Alabama. So we're going to stop right here where it says Louisville, Kentucky, gateway to the south. And I'll see you guys on part 2.